Have you ever felt that someone was lying to you, even though their face told a different story? Psychologist Carl Jung once observed that liars always leave traces, subtle hints that almost no one notices. These traces are embedded in behavior, words, and body language, but only those who know what to look for can truly detect them. Imagine discovering that every lie, no matter how carefully crafted, reveals itself in predictable ways. In this video, you will uncover 5 unmistakable signs that appear whenever someone lies, and these are not the old myths about looking left or touching the nose. This is real, tested insight from human psychology itself. Liars tend to overcompensate by giving too many unnecessary details. Think about it. If someone asks where you had lunch, a simple answer suffices. But a liar will describe the parking lot, the color of the waiter's shirt, the song playing, and even how many napkins were on the table. Carl Jung would explain this as the brain's way of manufacturing a story. Truth is simple. Lies require props and embellishment. People who are honest stick to the essentials. Liars spin short answers into long narratives, hoping to convince both you and themselves. You'll notice this everywhere in work situations when a colleague misses a deadline and suddenly talks about car troubles, a barking neighbor's dog, and an exact 43-minute traffic jam. In friendships, when a friend cancels plans, they might describe every symptom, the medicine they took, and what time of day it happened. Even in daily life, someone explaining where they were last night might suddenly mention what they wore or which ad appeared on TV. The reason is simple. Truth is recalled. Lies must be invented. Fear of being caught makes liars pile on irrelevant information, and this almost impossible to control pattern becomes a clear signal once you know to watch for it. Notice how details either move a story forward or feel like filler. True details are relevant. False ones are random. When someone overloads you with irrelevant information, pay attention. It's often the first sign that something isn't right. And here's a tip from Jungian psychology. Listen more than you speak. Let them fill the space with words. The longer they go, the more their lie reveals itself. If you're finding these insights valuable so far, take a moment to subscribe to SYC Soul. Hit the like button, turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos, and share this with anyone who might need it. Trust me, once you understand these signs, your awareness of people and their intentions changes forever. Now, let's go deeper. The second sign appears after someone speaks: sudden withdrawal. After telling a story, making a promise, or explaining themselves, liars often retreat. They respond slower to messages, avoid face-to-face encounters, or seem mysteriously busy. Why? Because every interaction reminds them of gaps in their story, and distance reduces the mental strain of maintaining a lie. Carl Jung would say that this avoidance is rooted in the subconscious effort to protect their ego and maintain the illusion. This subtle withdrawal is everywhere, from relationships, where someone suddenly works late after a secret, to colleagues avoiding team meetings after stealing credit. Honest people don't disappear after speaking the truth. They remain present because they have nothing to hide. Watch for the timing. Withdrawal right after a key conversation is rarely coincidental. When combined with excessive details, this pattern begins to reveal the lie before any words are proven false. Now that you're noticing how withdrawal follows overcompensated details, the third sign becomes even clearer. Carl Jung emphasized that the human psyche unconsciously reveals itself, especially under stress or deception. One of the strongest signals of lying is the blame shift, when someone refuses to own their actions and instead points fingers at others. Liars craft a cast of scapegoats: the traffic, a coworker, the boss, even circumstances. Anything to avoid being the villain in their own story. Truth, on the other hand, doesn't need alibis. Consider everyday examples. A colleague misses a deadline and blames traffic even though everyone else arrived on time. A friend forgets a promise and blames their phone, the boss, or the family. Someone caught lying might claim you misunderstood them or say that another person misinformed them. These automatic deflections arise from the brain's desire to reduce guilt and protect the ego. Even seasoned liars fall into this trap because subconsciously, avoiding blame feels safer than admitting a mistake. The intensity of this sign depends on the magnitude of the lie. Small lies bring small excuses. I was busy. Bigger lies, however, come with multiple scapegoats at once. Unlucky circumstances, other people's mistakes, bad timing. Pay attention to patterns. Do they always have an excuse? Do they rarely take responsibility? Are they constantly portrayed as victims in their stories? When the first two signs, excessive details and withdrawal, appear alongside consistent blame shifting, you are witnessing deception in full form. Recognizing this pattern will sharpen your perception, allowing you to notice dishonesty in conversations, work, or even relationships. Next, we reach the fourth sign, which Carl Jung would describe as inconsistency over time. Lies, unlike the truth, must be remembered, and human memory is imperfect, especially when recalling events that never happened. Watch for changes in stories. Small details shift, timelines adjust, people appear or disappear depending on the retelling. For example, someone says they were home all day, yet later mentions stopping by a store. Or they initially deny meeting someone but later recount a conversation with that exact person. The truth remains constant, but lies morph, revealing themselves gradually. Verbal clues include phrases like, "Actually, I don't think I said it that way," or "You must have misunderstood me." Nonverbal clues appear as hesitation, looking away, or irritation when questioned. Liars often try to limit storytelling or react defensively when asked for clarification. But the truth does not fear questions. Only lies do. To test this sign, ask open-ended questions that make them retell parts of their story at different times. Compare details without accusing. Many mistake this as simple forgetfulness, but forgetting minor details, like what you had for lunch, is normal. Forgetting entire contexts, timelines, or locations is suspicious. Here's a connection point. If you're following along and recognize these patterns in your own life, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Seeing which signs resonate with you can be fascinating, and it helps others realize they aren't alone in noticing these subtle truths. By now, the first four signs, too many details, withdrawal, blame shifting, and story changes, are starting to form a clear system. Combined, they create a framework for detecting lies almost intuitively. And we haven't even reached the final, most revealing sign yet. But before that, reflect on how often these patterns appear around you, at work, with friends, or even in casual conversations. Recognizing them is the first step toward protecting yourself from deception. Now we arrive at the fifth and most revealing sign, and this is where Carl Jung's insights into human behavior shine brightest. When someone lies, their emotions rarely match their words. Imagine a conversation where someone tells you something tragic, but smiles while saying it, or they share exciting news, yet sound indifferent. This mismatch between what is said and what is felt is one of the most reliable indicators of deception, and it is almost impossible to fake convincingly. Truth carries its own emotional imprint. Lies require acting, and acting always leaves subtle cracks. In everyday life, this becomes apparent. Someone calls in sick, but sounds energetic and cheerful. Someone apologizes, but seems more annoyed than remorseful. Someone claims to be happy for your success, but their voice is cold, their smile empty. Or they recount a distressing event, but sound oddly detached as if reading from a script. The reason is simple. Real emotions arise automatically in the brain and unconsciously reflect in our expressions, voice, and body. Faking them consistently while maintaining a complex lie is nearly impossible. Small lies show fleeting misdirections. Long-term lies lead to emotional exhaustion. The person becomes detached from their own story, because repeating it so many times erodes any genuine feeling behind it. Even good actors or practiced liars eventually slip, especially under pressure or when confronted with unexpected questions. Socially insecure individuals may appear emotionally off, even when honest, but the key difference lies in consistency. Insecurity is constant. Emotional mismatch tied specifically to a story signals deception. Advanced observation techniques include watching micro-expressions, tiny, brief flashes of emotion, and paying attention to the eyes. A smile can be controlled, but the eyes often reveal the truth. Another technique is to introduce an emotional topic suddenly and observe their immediate reaction. Genuine emotions appear instantly. Fake ones take a moment to surface. Now, when you combine all 5 signs, the picture becomes unmistakable. Too many unnecessary details, withdrawal after the story, shifting blame, changing narratives, and emotions that don't align. Each individual sign could be explained away, but together they form a complete, undeniable system of deception. Carl Jung would describe this as the psyche revealing itself through unconscious patterns that no liar can fully control. Once you recognize these patterns, lying becomes nearly impossible to hide. You stop merely listening to words. You see contradictions, detect patterns, and notice subtle cues that reveal the truth. The long-term benefits are profound. Stronger relationships because you know who to trust. Better professional decisions because you can detect dishonesty. And improved mental clarity because you trust your instincts when something feels off. You protect yourself from manipulation, fraud, and disappointment while building confidence in your own judgment. But remember, this knowledge is not an invitation to paranoia. It is a tool for awareness. Use it to make decisions based on reality, not someone's well-crafted fiction. Ignoring these signs now would not be innocence, but self-deception. Recognizing them empowers you to act, protect yourself, and cultivate honest, healthier relationships. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to SYC Soul, like this video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss future insights, and share it with anyone who needs to see it. Once you start noticing these patterns, the truth will always reveal itself, and you'll never see deception the same way again.